How you doing, everybody? We're going to take a look at the Midi Mutator, and under that the rhythm generator, and then we're going to look at just this top line. It says regenerate with, and we have these 5 algorithms. We're just going to look at that. So let me play. I put in a real simple 2-bar phrase. Let me play that for you. Okay, all eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so what I did with this phrase is I've got Studio One open here, and you can take, you've got this little icon here, and you can drag your MIDI anywhere you want. So you could drag it into Studio One. And let's take a look at this phrase. Nice thing about Studio One is this score editor makes it really easy for us to examine these phrases from RapidComposer. And we're really just interested in the rhythm right now, because that's the aspect of the MIDI Mutator that we're looking at. It does have other things besides rhythm. It's got so many things, but we're just going to look at rhythm. So as I said, we've got this phrase, and it's all eighth notes. I'm not crazy about the beaming here, but you know, forgive that. Normally you'd just beam 2 eighth notes together, so you'd see the 4 beats, but you get the idea. We've got all eighth notes and 2 bars. Okay, so that's without applying any changes from the MIDI Mutator. All right, so let's go back, and we'll just do algorithm number 1. All right, and then sorry about this switching. I'm just trying to do everything on one monitor so you can all see. I don't know how to record from 2 monitors. I'm not even sure that's possible. So, well, let me play this for you. Okay, so we'll drag that in. We'll undo that, go back to our original all eighth notes. We'll do algorithm number 2, and we'll drag that into Studio One. Go back to all eighth notes, algorithm number 3, drag that in, back to eighth notes, algorithm number 4, and finally algorithm number 5. Okay, so now we've applied these things, and it's a lot easier to see them in the score editor, in my opinion. So let's open it up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got the original and then 5 permutations. And let's get ourselves oriented here in Studio One. Yeah, now we can see everything. Okay, so we see the first 2 bars. There's our eighth notes. Then we've got the first algorithm, and what we see here is a mixture of we've got a couple of 16th notes on the first beat, then 2/8, then a quarter, and then 2/8. Now, what I want you to notice is something, is that the rhythms of the first measure and the second measure are going to be exactly the same. And the reason for that is there's a setting. Let me go back to Rapid for a second. This is an important setting, and that is the repetition is 1 bar. So in other words, whatever rhythmic change it makes, it's going to do it to 1 bar, and then it's going to repeat that exact same rhythmic change on the second bar. Now it says event length from rhythm, and there's some explanation of that, but let's leave that aside. We can play with those settings a little later, but at least let's focus in on just these 5 algorithms and see what we've got, see how musical it is, and if this is something that seems to be a useful musical tool. Because, you know, you can play around with probability and these types of algorithms, but at the end of the day, if they're just too random and they're not producing anything musical, it's probably, as they say, that the juice is not worth the squeeze. Okay, so let's go back and look at our five algorithms, should we call them? No, that's not the right word, but you get the idea. Okay, so that we've looked at the second one. Now there's third one. We see a quarter note, an eighth, a 16th, and then 2/32 here, and then a quarter, and then 2/8, and then that rhythm is repeated: a quarter, an eighth, 2/16, and a 32nd. So that's the second algorithm, and then the third algorithm, we see a dotted type pattern, right? We've got our 16th, and then a dotted eighth, right? 1/16 dotted eighth. That makes up 1 beat. And then we've got our dotted eighth and the 16th. Essentially, we're reversing the rhythm of beat 1. We're reversing that order of the dotted eighth and the 16th. And then we've got 4/16, and we've got a tie here with the last B4 is there, okay, and then that repeats. And then this would be the fourth algorithmic application, and pretty easy to see this is very consistent. We've got an eighth and then a 16th, and we've just moved everything over by 1/16. So we've shifted. This is an algorithm that shifts the notes. And then we've got duplets over here in the last one. So let's listen to it all together. All right, I slowed it down. So this is our first unaltered. Okay, so to my ears, all these are musical, no question about it. And if we go back to Rapid, this is really easy peasy stuff, right? I mean, we load in our phrase and then we can just click on these lightning bolts and get something. So I'm really liking this. All right, in the next video we'll try to take a look at this event length and what happens when we change the repetition. I'll try to play around with that and see if I can figure that out and bring it to you. But I would say that this rhythm generator, this top line with these 5 algorithms is definitely something I might want to use on a consistent basis. So I'll see you in the next video.